Easy people, welcome back to the channel. We are the South Stand MCFC. It has been a while. I've been away on my jollies. Daps has been away on his jollies. So yeah, we have been slacking a little bit. We do apologise for that. First of all, I want to mention the sponsors. Terry's Cult. Daps is wearing a nice Salvatore pink overshirt. There's a lot of people wearing the Cult now, so there's a discount code there. If you want something from Terry's Cult, go on the discount code, scan the QR, go and show them some love, go and follow him and use the code SouthStand15. Daps, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, refreshed.
Yeah,
refreshed, ready to go. We are the South Stand and with the final. Do you know what? We'll talk on the Palace game, but I think the Palace game has given us a bounce that we needed after that United result. So,
and we are joined below by, I can't remember your name. You just told me a minute ago, and I forgot. Who was it? Nick.
Nick, yep.
Nick, listen, Nick, how are you doing, mate? You okay?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Obviously, good to get a win away on the weekend. So, feeling a lot better.
Yeah. No, it was. We're going to talk about the Palace game. A few of us have not really spoke about it. I can't lie. When the team selection was announced, I think there's a few people in the ground that was a little bit like, "What's he playing at? Pep again? He's choosing the old guard, etc." Rico Lewis was in, and the City fans had a right to moan. First 20 minutes was a disaster. We find ourselves 2-0 down, and I can't lie. I think if the third goal had gone in from Eze, which was ruled out, I think that would have put the nail in the coffin. But I mean, what was your thoughts, Nick? First, as soon as the team lineup come out, was you confident in Pep's selection, or did you think he'd got it wrong?
Yeah, personally, I thought he got it wrong. I think going with a midfield of, I think it was, Gonzalez? Nico was probably the only one that I was like super confident in. Having Gundo, Kev, and I think Kovacic as well, just really, really worried me, to be honest. Not having any real out-and-out wingers as well. I know obviously Marmoush kind of floated out to the left a little bit later on in the game, but yeah, it was a strange lineup. I think all of us were a bit shocked.
Even the inclusion of Mcatee was a bit weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it seemed to me like, he's playing and he's got to play him, so he's thinking of playing him. It was a bit weird, but I mean, I went to the derby the week before at Old Trafford, and like you say, United were fucking terrible, and we were worse, and they were there for the taking. And I feel like if we'd have cranked it up another gear, City had beat them and won that game.
Yeah.
And then you come to Crystal Palace and you find yourself 2-0 down, and you're thinking, this is some sign of mad nightmare. This. And then, thank God, Kevin De Bruyne decided to channel his old self and just grab the game by the scruff of the neck, because he could have scored before the free kick. He hit the post, and then he put Marmoush through 1-on-1, which I think he should have shot a bit earlier. He got too close to the keeper. He tried to push it under his legs.
Yeah. And then he had a good chance as well before that, well, didn't he?
Yeah. And we get that free kick. I mean, that's right in front of me at the South Stand. Kevin bends it bottom corner. And then 3 minutes later, Marmoush, bang, 2-2. And then you're thinking, wow, if we'd have stopped the game at 2-0 and somebody said, listen, are you confident Man City's going to win this game? I don't think any of us would have put any money on it. You know what I mean? No. But we did get back into the game. Kevin De Bruyne did look like a man possessed. What do you guys think with the Kevin situation? I think there's a lot of people now screaming that we need to give him a 1-year deal, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Do you know what? So I've over the last few weeks have very much been, do you know what? It's the right time for him to go. I still do think it's the right time for him to go. I did say he's not impact. And one of my whole things with my lineup going into that game was, I think I said start Bernardo, not De Bruyne. And I said, the only way we're going to have De Bruyne impact these games now is if he's coming on as a sub. He proved me wrong, right? But I don't think, do you know what, Steve, that post we saw the other day, that tool that said De Bruyne has got no moments, right?
Yeah, crazy.
But and then someone said, well, Vinny's got his moment, the Leicester goal. I'm not saying that De Bruyne performance is equal to the Vinny goal, but at the end of this season, right, we could look back on this game and go, do you know what? That could be the moment where it's De Bruyne once again showed that desire, which I've worried about. That United game really worried me because I thought we need to win these games to get Champions League football. And I'm not seeing hunger from anyone. De Bruyne, that game against Crystal Palace showed me he still wants to leave this club on a high note. And again, against United, I don't know if you remember, Steve, we had a free kick and De Bruyne let Marmoush take it.
Yeah.
So when we got that free kick, I'm thinking, I reckon Marmoush is going to have this again. And it was nice to see that De Bruyne has still got it in the locker. It was one of those games where the first time he dragged us.
I feel like big up Luke, City Luke and MCFC Fan TV in the chat. But I feel like what Fan TV just said there, we need a replacement. I feel we've got a replacement. I feel like this Wirtz situation is the one City want, and I feel like they're not going to announce De Bruyne leaving if they haven't got anyone lined up. But then we roll it back to Aguero. We let Kun Aguero go, and we all thought we definitely got a striker lined up. And then we played 2 seasons with no striker. I know we got away with it, we couldn't, but I don't think we get away with that with Kev. I feel like we need that creativity. Echeverry's training every day with the boys. I don't know whether they're priming him up for a similar role. Phil Foden's dropped off. We know that. He's got to bounce back next season because we can't afford another season like this with Phil. So for me, I think they've got to have someone lined up, especially the Wirtz talk. So what do you think, Nick, about the De Bruyne situation? Are you, is it right to let him go, or would you keep him for one more?
Yeah, look, mate, I'm probably in the same boat as you, where I think they've definitely have to have something lined up if they're going to be quite early on, pretty much saying we're not offering you a contract. I don't think they would kind of do that this early or this close to the end of the season if they haven't got something lined up. But it pains me to say, but I think it's time to move on. It's time to you can't get a proper squad refresh going by kind of holding on to kind of players and memories as well. So yeah, I'm still of a firm belief that it's time to move him on a little bit.
Yeah, we can't. I think we can't. That performance was great, and I hope there's more. We're going to need one against Everton. I'm still would love for De Bruyne to go out scoring at Wembley and lifting the trophy, but I think we can't see 1 or 2 performances and then go and think, do you know what? Actually, De Bruyne's fine, because we have to remember his wage is a lot as well. His wage is one hell of a lot. And to get
I think a lot of people are panicking because he's turned around and said, I'm finally paying free. I've had an hernia thing for 6 weeks. So I think people are thinking, shit, City's made this rash decision. Then all of a sudden he's become fit again and he's going to be the old Bruyne.
Is that what's been said?
He's paying free now, yeah. Didn't he say he's been paying for 6 weeks?
8 weeks or something. He said he had a hernia. He's been playing with a hernia, so that can't be comfortable.
So it's like, that is going to affect him. But, I mean, we've got to be honest with ourselves. This season, he's not been one performance against Crystal Palace is not going to get you a contract on 400 grand a week. You know what I mean? So,
spot on.
I think it is the time to go. I'd be great to see him. Sorry, it'd be great to see him.
On that. Do you think it's also because he obviously mentioned that he potentially would be open to staying in England? That's freaked a lot of people out. That
panicked a few people, I think. I think
100%.
the Liverpool fans are starting to get a bit excited. Someone mentioned he might go Liverpool because he's a Liverpool fan. But, I mean...
They'd love that. Is he a Liverpool fan now?
Yeah, well, he had an interview when he was a kid and he said something about Liverpool. But
I know he's mates with Van Dijk as well, but...
I don't know if... would he go there?
Why tarnish your legacy for 1 or 2 seasons? And
for me, I'll be dead honest with you. If we didn't want him and he went to Liverpool, after what he's done for Manchester City, I wouldn't be one of these that hated him. If he signed for Man United, he's gone, he's dead. But if for Liverpool, I'd just say, you know what, mate, it is what it is. But I know football fans aren't like that. They're not as forgiving as maybe I am. But I don't see it. I feel like if he wants the numbers, he's got to go abroad. I feel America, New York City, keep him in the City group for me as an ambassador. Keep him around the City group. That's what I would do. I'd send him to New York. And in the mid-season break in America, like a lot of players used to go into Europe, send him to Girona. Just use him, give him his money. Let's keep him in our group. That's what I would do personally.
Yeah. Have there been any links to New York?
There was
I think there was a link
around
with
there.
him and Pep at the time when Pep was going to leave. But other than that, I don't know. He's going to. I think he's going to. I can't see him in Saudi. For one, he's got the wrong colour hair and the skin type. He'd be melted. He'd have to get a fucking a deal with sunscreen, wouldn't he? Like an endorsement with.
Steve, when did you go Dubai? By the way, when did you go?
January. I only go in January, mate. I get fried alive.
I usually do. I usually do round about September, October, November, or February, right? The month. So what did I go? Went in April, mate. 40 degrees. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, mate,
and it gets hotter. It gets worse.
The hottest I've ever been in my life, and you was with me, Daps, was Athens.
Yeah, Athens was mad, wasn't it?
I remember we got out the shower, got all the gear on, fucking aircon room, fresh as fuck. I thought, right, let's go. I opened the front door, I turned the front door, I locked it, I walked up 2 stairs to his room, knocked on, I was sweating my ass off. God, finished.
Yeah, Athens was mad fun. That was Athens in August,
Super Cup,
yeah, that was mad hot. But Dubai this time was insane. It was and it gets hotter, it gets worse. So you're right. Kevin De Bruyne in Saudi with his ginger hair and pale skin. yeah.
I can't see it. But
it would be good to see De Bruyne grow a beard. And
well, listen, Saudi's a beautiful place. I've been there, I love it. But I don't know. It's just, and then we come out second half. We got the game by the scruff of the neck. Kovacic, Mcatee, Nico O'Reilly, all scoring goals. It looked like we did start to play some good football that second half, knocking it about a little bit. I mean, one player I wanted to speak about was Nico O'Reilly. He's a player that I picked up for a long time. Even when I was on City's channel pre-season, he was my one to watch. He's a really good kid. I remember watching him at Chorley 18 months ago in a game, head and shoulders above everyone else. I am quite relieved this week that Pep's come out and said basically that O'Reilly's only helping us out at left back. So that, to me, signals that he's not going to be left back. I mean, Nick, what have you thought of Nico O'Reilly? I mean, for a young lad to come in and play left back in this team that's been struggling, I think he's done a fantastic job.
Unbelievable job. I think earlier on in the season, he probably came in for a couple of one or two of the cup games. He came in and played midfield, and he did look a bit lost, and it almost like the moment was a little bit too big for him. But I think his confidence has obviously just grown as the season's progressed. I think being in and around the squad helps massively, and you can see what Pep's doing. He's just kind of giving him that belief and that trust that he's got his backing. And there was times in that game where it was in our box, and he's doing like 360 spins and unbelievable composure for a kid his age.
Yeah.
I think he's not even got his man strength yet, me. I think he's a big unit. I think when he starts increasing it, and if we can get him in that midfield, technically wise, he's very, very good. You've seen that against Bournemouth when he goes bombing down the fucking flank, and instead of shooting, which I would have shot, he puts it across for Erling. And so technically wise, he's a great player. We've got some fantastic young kids coming through the academy. We've got Divine Mukasa, who's this season's been on fire. Brilliant technical player. We've got Emil Heskey's son, Regan, the winger, who's really, really standing head and shoulders above everyone else. We've got Ryan Mcatee that we signed from Chelsea. So I'd like to see these boys involved in this World Club Cup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'd like to see them integrated in it, because one thing I think Manchester City have been a little bit guilty of the last few years, because we've been such at a high level. We've never took the risk on the kids. You know, we've let players go where have come back to bite us on the arse. I feel like now that we're not, the pressure's not on us 100%. This is the time for me to start bringing a few in towards the end of the season. But Echeverri, one we spoke about before, do you think it's a bit, weird how he's not been playing, Nick, or do you think Pep's keeping him under wraps for the pre-season game?
Yeah, I do think it's a bit strange that he's not even on the bench. I think especially with however many kind of players we've got on the bench that aren't even playing, aren't even getting minutes, that he's not even in and around the squad. Seems a little bit strange, but I think we're going to have to be patient with him. I think I've mentioned to Daps before, I've watched him a fair bit in that under-20 competition he just came from, and incredible talent, but still so raw and turns the ball over often trying things. But I think that comes with time and like a bit more maturity as well.
One thing I have noticed with him, Nick, when we first signed him, like over a year ago, there's a picture of him holding a City shirt and he looks very, very slight in frame. And then you watch him in that under-20 World Cup, he scored a goal and he runs to the camera and he looks like he's bulked up. I know City did put him on a performance plan. I did hear that they sent people out to Argentina and said, you've got to get these stats and that. So they look like they're building him up for the Premier League, like you say, the transformation. A bit like United with Ronaldo back in the day. Ronaldo came and you looked at him, he was nowhere near ready to frame. And then you look at what he became. It's like you've got to physically get him big. And Foden's been through it. You know, he's the same. He's put a bit of bulk on and that. But yeah, I think everyone's just excited.
They've probably got Ruben Diaz in the gym with him, ain't they?
Yeah, Ruben. Yeah, Ruben.
You need him alive in there.
Yeah, Ruben piling on the weights. But no, I honestly think Echeverri and I think Vitor Hayes will be two players that I think will probably start every game in the Club World Cup.
I really love Hayes. I think every time he's played, I don't think he's put a foot wrong. I think he looks so composed on the ball. I think Cousinov at the minute getting a little breathers right. I feel like, you know, he came in, he had that stinky of a debut. And then since then, he's a bit of a cult hero now. The fans love him. But we can't forget he's only young. We can't forget he's been thrown in the deep end. It is doing him good to just pull him out every now and then. So I think Pep's doing it right. But I feel like we've got to move on this weekend. We've got Everton away. It's the last ever game at Goodison for Manchester City. It's a shithole of a ground. The away end is absolutely fucking terrible. If you're in the first 10 rows, you get a great view. If you're in the back 20 rows, you can't see a thing. If you're on the upper tier, it's shit. So I'm not going to say I'm sad to see Goodison Park go. I'm not, because the new stadium looks fantastic. But Everton, great win away at Forest. I think it's going to be tough. Nick, do you think we can go there and get the win? Or do you think it's going to be difficult?
I think it's going to be very difficult. I think defensively they're kind of set up in a way that teams really struggle to break them down at the moment. I think this could be a 1-0, 1-1 kind of game. I can't see us putting 3 or 4 kind of past them at the moment. But let's hope I'm wrong, because I said Arsenal were going to get battered by Madrid. So completely wrong on that one, wasn't I? I think we said that last week, Dabs.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Arsenal.
What about you two boys? What do you think for the weekend?
I think the Everton game. Look, for me, I'm looking at this game, and I'm looking at the Villa game, and these are 2 games. If we could take 4 points out of these 2 games, I'm very confident we get Champions League football, right? Because after that, I think then we kind of start cooking. I actually think we beat Villa. I'd like to get a win at Everton. I would, right? However, if we draw with Everton at Goodison Park, I wouldn't be pissed off. We've known it over the years. You only have to look at that game, you know, the hand of Rod, right? How difficult a game that was. And Moyes has got them playing. He's got them playing a bit more like the old Everton again. They're going to be hard to break down. There's
no pressure on them. They're there for vibes. They're waiting for the end of the season. Every game's a cup final. Everyone's celebrating and that. They're just going for it. But I feel like we can win. I think Erling Haaland missing is a big blow. But I feel like Marmoush, you know, we're still learning how to play without Haaland with Marmoush. I feel like we're doing all right. And I just feel like what Nick says, I think it's going to be a tight one. I think we're going to nick it 1-0. But the top 4, every season, I find myself on the Big Six show talking about it, that it's like teams don't want to get in the top 4. They all start losing around the same time, but all of them, you know what I mean? And luckily last week was a good weekend for us. People were dropping points, etc. Newcastle have got that's a problem. But other than that, I'm looking forward to the game. Wembley's the big one the week after. But is there any other surprises this week for the Everton game? Do you think Oscar Bob gets a start? You know, do you think he's going to get more minutes? Because he's only getting 5 or 10 here and there. I think Pep's a bit cautious on it and that. But he's a fantastic player. And we can't forget he was probably the player of the pre-season. So getting Oscar back is like a new signing as well. And I think he can play in that false 9.
Yeah. Do you know what? I feel like we've got to remember Bob's been out for, what was it, 6 months? 7 months with a series and his first injury, and then he had a reoccurrence. So we have to be careful with him. Pep seems to not be favouring wingers at the moment.
No.
So, but this is where if we don't beat Everton and Villa, then we're going down to the last couple of games. It's going to be tight, right? If we can get 3 points against Everton, 3 points against Villa, I then think the last couple of games we might start seeing maybe Bob get brought on. And in fact, he did come on the other day, to be fair, didn't he? So he did come on. I think as equally big game this weekend, quickly for us, is the Villa Newcastle one.
Yeah.
And don't know where you lot stand on that, but for me, I was just saying to Cass, I feel like right now we need to just accept that we are going to be part of a top 5, right? We can't be saying 100%. Whether we want 3rd, 4th, or 5th. 3rd would be unreal, right? But 3rd, 4th, or 5th, and you've got to look at it and go, do you know what, right? I think Newcastle, the form they're in,
unbelievable.
We probably want Newcastle to batter Villa, don't we?
Yeah,
probably. Yeah.
Yeah, and just get Villa out of it and just go, do you know what? If we have to share the top 5 with Forest, Newcastle, and us, then so be it. We need everyone else taking points off of your Chelsea and Villa. We need anyone that's playing Chelsea and Villa to keep taking points off of them. And if we can go and get a result against Everton, because I think if we beat Everton, we definitely go on to beat Villa. And I think we put on a bit of a run. And that would be what we need going into the summer as well. And then start seeing the fringe players. Doku's a weird one, don't you think? What's going on with Doku?
He's just so inconsistent, Jeremy, at the minute. Like you say, he's so exciting. The fans love him. We all want to see Doku on the ball. He's great. But when you get games where he gets to the byline and he's checking back, or he's shooting, it's going over the bar, he's hitting the last defender, you start getting frustrated. And I think Pep's got frustrated and thought, you know what? It's great on the eye and it's exciting, but there's no end product. So he's thinking, let's choose a system that's got more control and it's got more end product. So he's now choosing us to play 30, 40 passes and then finally get a goal, rather than 1 or 2 to Doku and then it's out for a goal kick, it's out for a corner. But he's got to improve. He can't continue next season like this season. He's got to have an end product. We've got to see a Jeremy Doku like a Raheem Sterling or a Leroy Sané, where both of them were deadly on what they do. And Savinho's the same. He's been fantastic this season. Yeah. He's probably played more games than he ever expected, but the end product from both of them, he's not good enough. If we want to win the league, we need them to providing X amount of assists and X amount of goals, because otherwise it's not going to happen. We're used to Leroy, we're used to Raheem, we're used to Riyad Mahrez, all delivering numbers. These two are well off it at the minute.
Yeah, I agree. I think interesting with Savio is it seems like when he's on the left, Savio's more creative. On the right, he seems more obsessed with shooting. And I don't know if maybe next season, and Cass just mentioned this to me while we were out for a walk, maybe Savio on the left and Bob on the right could work better. Yeah. So I wouldn't mind seeing that. But if
I'm being honest, so I wouldn't mind seeing Marmoush on the left. From what I've seen, just the glimpses that he's kind of shown when he's drifted out there, he looks. I feel like he's got that end product as well that we've kind of been missing from all of our wingers this season.
Yeah, that's the key. That's the difference between. And do you know what? That's the thing I think we've missed massively with Bob, though. That the difference between Bob and Doku and Savio is Bob's got end product. Bob, and I don't just mean assist. Bob can get goals. We've seen that. Bob seems more clinical than the other two. So, but we'll see. I don't know. It's interesting with kind of how we're playing this season, trying to work out how we might play next season with the players that we've brought in. But Marmoush is certainly the most clinical. And by the way, just quickly, Steve, I went to had an oud shop in my hotel again and was speaking to the guy in there, and he said, "Where are you from? Who do you support?" I said, "City." He said, I'm Egyptian. Marmoush. We love Marmoush. He goes, we're all City fans now. And it was interesting. I said, he said, we love Salah, but he said Salah has changed as a human being. We all want Marmoush to succeed because Marmoush will not change. He's the same person. And they were saying Marmoush is going to set the Premier League alight. So,
Salah changed when he got a Christmas tree. That's what they're all talking about.
No, do you know what? That's what I said. That's what I said. And he said it wasn't that. He said the thing is that Salah is from a poor area and changed, right? He said, whereas Marmoush has always been, they call Marmoush Prince because he's wealthy. And they said, so he can't change. We know Marmoush is a footballer, whereas Salah wanted a backstory. But when you have a backstory, if you change from your backstory, you change as a person. Whereas Marmoush hasn't got it. Marmoush is just a unbelievable footballer. So
was anyone else impressed with Marmoush's defensive work rate? I thought it was unbelievable.
I didn't notice it. I didn't notice
so that's probably a good thing.
Really,
I think that's under Pep. I think if you play under Pep, you can't slack. You've got to get back.
Yeah.
You know
it was just before he was late in the game, and he's still sprinting, just tackling.
Do you know what I think with Marmoush, which is fantastic? It's the way he strikes the ball and the way he can hit a ball. He hit one at Old Trafford. The ball bounced awkward, and I thought this is going in Rose Ed, and he managed to get his foot under it and whip it in.
Mate.
The keeper saved it, and then that goal he scored. A lot of people don't attempt that because you can break your leg because defenders putting legs in. If you go against a defender's shin after shooting, you're going to break your leg. But he smashed it into the ground. I feel
there's a few. The free kick, because he's a free kick specialist, isn't he? But that one against Onana just happened to be. We'll say Onana saved it, but Onana just happened to be in front of it and put his fists out. But it's the power he gets on his shots is mad. And even remember the goal against Newcastle, the chip.
Yeah.
The minute he connected with the ball, he ran off celebrating. He seems extremely confident in his striking ability. What one worth talking about? Well, two players worth talking about from the Palace game. Nico Gonzalez.
Yeah.
I think. Do you know what? There's a clear difference when he plays.
I think he's learning the game. It's to go from Portugal.
Yeah.
And in midfield for Porto, no disrespect to the Premier League, it's so you don't get any time on the ball. And what Pep's asking him to do is a big job in the system. You're an important cog in the wheel. He's never going to be Rodri, but we need someone who can do sort of Rodri things. The first game Nico came in was a breath of fresh air. We all said that. And then he's managed to take him out a couple of times. And I think he's just managing it right, Pep. He's not throwing him in the deep end. He's tweaking it here and there. And this is what Pep Guardiola does. He will coach him into his system. And like you say, I think we'll see the best of Nico Gonzalez next season. But I think he's been doing quiet work, but important work. It doesn't get all in, you don't literally, rave about it. But it's the little things he's doing which are making the team play a little bit better, in my opinion.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think it's... sorry, Nick, one sec.
Oh, you go, man.
In fact, no, go on, Nick. You go first. I'll remember.
No, I was just going to say, I think I mentioned it a week or two ago, kind of on here with you, Daps, and a few others, that a lot of the games, the game goes by and I'm like, well, was he on the pitch? Like, he just kind of gets things done. It's kind of that back-end stuff that we're not really kind of seeing, which is... It's honestly perfect. If I don't notice a defensive midfielder is like
100% agreed.
He's done a good job.
Yeah, I just think also there's one thing that there's the fact that before he came in, people were waltzing through our midfield, right?
Oh, yeah.
But I also do think one thing that we really lacked as well was winning second balls, and I feel he's bringing that to us. And even it's little things like his height. And he's winning headers that maybe other midfielders wouldn't win. It's just very little things. I think you're right. There are things that you don't notice with defensive midfielders. And I think next season's very interesting. I personally do want to see him and Rodri together because I think it would be interesting, them taking it in turns to go forward and just... I think we move the ball quicker when he's on the pitch as well. I think that's the one thing. He recycles it and moves it to the other side quickly. The other player I wanted to get your opinions on was Mcatee.
Yeah, he did well. Listen, I'm going to be honest, right? I like Mcatee as a player, but I've always been very unsure whether consistently he can play in this Manchester City team. And that's just my opinion. I've seen a lot of these young players come in before. I mean, if we're letting Cole Palmer go, because he's maybe not there, then I think Cole's a lot better than James. I think this season's, if we've not been at the races, so he's having games, he's scoring goals, and he has impressed me a little bit. And do I think he could have? Do I think he's got a future as a squad player? Maybe. Do I think he starts regular for us? I don't think he does, and I think he probably knows that. And I feel like City will sell him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a good way to move on. I'm the same as you, Steve. I think he's definitely a good squad player, but there's only a certain amount of time you can keep a squad player. We have to remember he's not Bob's age. He's not Rico Lewis's age. He's Cole Palmer's age, right?
Yeah.
He's not, how old is he? 22, 23
I think
now?
he's 23 off the top of my head.
So he's not young. Now, rumours have right. If we start, we're going to talk on Florian Wirtz. I don't know if you saw last week, but there was rumours that I think Alonso and some other members.
Yeah, they were at the training ground, weren't they?
They were at the training ground, and straight away, no one knew what it was. It's come out that they obviously, we know we're interested in Wirtz, but by the looks of it, they want Mcatee and or Ortega as well. And I put it on Instagram, and there's quite a few people saying we mustn't let Mcatee go. We have to learn from the Cole Palmer thing. I'm with you, Steve. I like Mcatee, but there's some people that were saying, no, if need be, we don't let Mcatee go, even if it means we don't get Wirtz. And I think, what world are you living in? He's a good player, but we can't compare him to Cole Palmer, who's been out on loan in the Premier League for 2 seasons and wasn't setting.
I know for a fact last season they was going to let him go, but they wanted 25 million for him. Yeah. I know that for a fact because I'm not going to tell you why, but I know that for a fact. And I think at the time Mcatee thought that was a bit high. City were pricing him a little bit high, but I feel like this season's had a little taste of it, so he probably feels like he can do a job. But Bayer Leverkusen apparently do want him, and they do want Ortega. And the Wirtz thing's really hard because Bayern Munich in Germany is the pinnacle of a lot of players' careers, and they don't have to up and move a country. They can go on to Bayern, play good football, win the Bundesliga every year, and end up in the Champions League late. So getting him out of Bayer Leverkusen, Wirtz, is going to be a big task. But the newspaper in Germany yesterday, Bild, which is their main paper, they said Pep's already spoken to him about the role he sees him. So if that's true, then we've got a great chance. If Pep Guardiola gives you a call and starts to wax lyrical over the phone, you're going to have your head turned. But we'll see. But I think I don't think Mcatee's got it for me there.
See, this is the thing. When people are saying, I've seen a few things like, no, we should be keeping Mcatee. Why can't we sell Bernardo? Right. We probably would get more money for Mcatee than we would Bernardo now, right? Because of his age. Secondly,
Bernardo,
Secondly, the Mcatee money is 100% profit, whereas with Bernardo, it won't be. Thirdly, something that is very important here, and Steve, you're spot on. Have I just froze? No, I'm back. One you're spot on with. Is who Bayer Leverkusen wants. So this is not about can we do this and not do this. If Bayer Leverkusen are saying, look, for us to get rid of Wirtz, we want a Wirtz replacement, and we believe that Mcatee and some money will, and maybe Ortega as well, because I believe Leverkusen might have their goalkeeper is on loan from Man United.
I'm not sure.
I believe, and they want Ortega. It's about what they want, right? And if we can give them what they want, there's more chance that they will do business with us than doing business with Bayern, right? And we are in a position where we want Wirtz. We need Wirtz. I know there's some people that maybe aren't so sold on Wirtz. Me personally, I'm absolutely sold on Wirtz. Looks like Pep's sold on Wirtz. He's 21 years old, I believe, which I thought he was older.
Yeah, crazy. And he's had a full year out with an ACL as well. So
crazy. Yeah. So just one thing to ask you two though. Do you think the fact that Alonso was over here, there might be a bit more to it than Wirtz?
I don't know, because it'd be blatantly obvious. You couldn't. I feel like Pep's probably invited them over to watch some training or do something, because that's what they do. You often find other managers go to different places, looking at how things set up and that. Jordi Cruyff was at City yesterday with Pep. Johan Cruyff's son, the ex-United player. He's probably doing his coaching badges and probably there. We've seen ex-players turning up at the ground watching Pep train and stuff. I don't know it because when they played Liverpool, Bayer Leverkusen, they all ate at Pep's restaurant in Manchester.
Right, okay.
So they didn't stay in Liverpool. The coaching staff went there. So they're all friends.
Yeah.
It's easy to look into it. I don't think Pep's going anywhere. I think Alonso's just over here, look, maybe just checking something out. It'd be a bit mad if he was over here looking at Pep's job, getting took around the training ground off Pep.
Yeah, I was thinking that's a bit too obvious, isn't it? For it to be out there, everyone thinking, hold on, Leverkusen can't be going here. You lot go over and you have a chat with them about Wirtz and Alonso, you go and have a chat with them about leaving our club. I was thinking that could there be anything to that? But look, for me, the other thing is it's come out that City have said they're willing to pay 150 million for him.
It's just a market value at the minute, the way it's going to go, I think.
Yeah.
Declan Rice's and that, and Caicedo's are going for over 100 million and Grealish. So Wirtz promised hottest prospect in European football. You're going to have to pay that kind of money. That's why I feel like if they did want a Mcatee and Ortega, putting them in some sort of deal would make sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you get it down to kind of 100, 110. It's a bit more.
It would make massive sense. And from the book's point of view, which I know none of us really care about, we have to care a little bit, is the whole Mcatee thing. The amount, Mcatee's 100% profit. So that will really, really help with funding. And look, we have to be honest, that we have to spend a lot of money this summer. Edison going.
Don't forget, we just spent 200 million in Jam.
Yeah. We've got. That's the thing. So the fact that Mcatee is a young player and the way that the financial thing works, if we sold Mcatee as part of the deal, they could probably make out that the Mcatee brought in 50 million, which as homegrown, that will really, really help. And I think we didn't pay much for Ortega either, did we?
We got him on a free.
Right. So if you imagine, I'm sure there's ways that it could be said that those two are funding almost half of the Wirtz deal.
Yeah, the City will know what they're doing with it, and I feel like they'll have a clear out as well from the youth. We always have a clear out where we'll let people go for a minimal fee, but they'll have like 30-40% buybacks and sell-on clause. Delap is a player that there's a release clause, but apparently we have the buyback option first.
Yeah.
I for one would take him back. I would. I feel like he gives us another option. He's now Premier League proven.
Yeah.
But it's whether Delap is going to want to come and play second fiddle to Erling Haaland and Marmoush. It's whether Pep can say, look, you can fight it out with Earl and go for it. Whether he's going to be up for that, or somebody comes in like a Chelsea or a Newcastle and says, look, you're going to be our main guy. I mean, Newcastle, they got Isak, but I think the big dogs are circling around Newcastle for him. I think the big boys are going to be coming for him. I mean, if they can get Delap in for 30 million, like they're saying, I think that's a great signing for them. You know what I mean? But I think this summer's transfer window is going to be so big for a lot of teams. I think Manchester United are in crisis. They need to improve. Tottenham are down there. They're going to improve. You've got Liverpool saying they're going to spend big. Chelsea are going to want to go again. Arsenal feel like they're on the verge of a title. They need to tweak it. And City are having a transitional period. So I think it's who's sporting directors and have got the are on the ball, because I think City need to get the business done early. We've got World Club Cup coming up. We need players. We can't go over there with a shadow squad. There's a lot of money online. You know what I mean? You win it, you're winning big money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think Delap for me. I think Chelsea. Joe Shields is at Chelsea, and he's their director of football, Steve. And I just think he's trying to bring the band back together. So I think, I think he's going to go in for Delap. Me, I wouldn't mind seeing Delap back, but because I think Delap's a really, really good player. But I just think he'll struggle for game time if he was to come to us with Haaland and with
Marmoush as well.
The other one I wanted to ask you actually about was what's your thoughts on the Udogie links?
I can't see it. That's
too expensive.
I don't think he's good enough though. I think I go on the Big Six show every week and listen to Toby fucking crying his ass out about him. So
for real,
I'm thinking he's no good for us. He looks like he's got a bit of a bozo gene in him as well, where he's big, powerful, and strong. But when it comes to that final decision making, it can be a bit crazy. I think Pep. I mean, they talk about Jeremiah Frimpong. He's a player that we had for a long time. Yeah. He's more of a wing back sort of player. I feel like, the one fullback I like is Hakimi from Paris. I feel like he's fantastic player. He'd be great, but I don't know with City at the minute. I don't know. I mean, you look at Anthony Robinson from Fulham. He's a bit old now. Well, not old, but he's later in his late 20s. And then you're looking at Kirkes at Bournemouth as a possible player. But I feel like fullback that season we signed Kyle Walker-Mende to replace Gael Clichy and Sagna.
Yeah, it's another one of them, isn't it?
This is what I feel like we're doing it. And we definitely need a left back. We've been saying it for 10 years. We need a left back. So, we definitely need one.
The other player we've been linked with is, I can't pronounce, is it?
Cambiasso?
No, Cambiasso. Yeah, Cambiasso's one that I think.
I reckon that's one that gets done pretty soon.
That's one that I think we might get done, right? And I do think we need to do our business early because we've got the Club World Cup. So I think we do need to get it done. And I think the club will probably want to be getting, certainly if, say Wirtz, I think the club will want to get Wirtz done early to get him on that Club World Cup as one of the, the selling, present him and whatever over there. But the other one that I've seen us linked with is that Leipzig centre-back that can also play left-back. Is it Lakiba?
Yeah, he looks all right.
He looks good, really good on the ball. The only worry for me is it's another centre-back that can play left-back. And it's like, can we just go and get some fullbacks, please?
Don't forget the centre-back we signed, Jumba Bar. He's on loan at Lens. He's a big unit, He's a big unit. Yeah. I actually spoke to him 2 weeks ago in the Instagram on the DMs. So he says he's looking forward to finally getting to City. But he's a unit, I think they played Marseille and they were waxing lyrical about him, the size of him. He's not a Manchester City typical centre-back where you look at someone who we always have like players who are good on the ball. He's okay on the ball, but he's just power. Whether that's the way the Premier League's going now. Arsenal have gone Gabriel Saliba, which is more power. I feel like he could come in and maybe do a job, or maybe stay out on loan again for another year.
Yeah.
Have you seen his defensive record since he's come in and played for their team?
Jumbo.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they've conceded 1 or 2 goals. Since
they love him there. They love him. He's a monster. He's a monster. And he's gone under the radar there. City got in there. I think there might be some court issues as well because I feel like his club wasn't happy the way it was done, and but I think City just grabbed him because he's so promising. But these are little deals that we're always putting together. City, you know what I mean? There's a lot of players out there in the City group that we can call on. Don't forget, we have 13, 14 teams around the world. Yeah. Any of them teams that have got a superstar, the first point of destination will be us if he's worth his salt. We signed McFarlane from New York. Under 21 fullback, so he might be the fullback that replaces. He could be in it. You know what I mean? But
I'd have Livramento. I don't know. I think with the form Newcastle are showing at the moment, and the fact that they did just win the League Cup, I think it's going to be difficult to get many of those players out of Newcastle at the moment. Maybe the older lot, the younger lot. I think it's going to be a struggle right now. Yeah. I think unfortunately, with Newcastle, and I'm talking, I really wanted Bruno, and Livramento. I think we would have had to go in from last summer and go in heavy.
Does bringing in 2 fullbacks, I don't know, lads, what your opinion is on this, but I think just bringing in two genuine fullbacks will give us just a completely different dimension, and having different options as well. Because at the moment, it's very, very defensive minded, and there's definitely games where we kind of need a bit of overlap and a bit of run. We just don't have it.
Yeah, totally agree with you on that. 100%.
I feel like we need to change it. We need to change it. What are we in? 43 minutes. Please hit the like button, people. And likes cost nothing. And I know some people are tight, but please hit the like button. But we want to have a shameless plug first. Daps, get something
else that might not cost too much as well.
Rival Tears. You've all been moaning about it. Where can I get Rival Tears? I want to drink some United Tears, Arsenal Tears, and all that. And you could only buy it in crates. Well, now, if you got a Poundland, because I know you all shop at Poundland, so don't tell me lies saying you don't go in Poundland because you do, or your mum does. Go to Poundland and you can get Rival Tears by the carton. It's £1 each. Get your tears in for the weekend. Everton Tears we're drinking this weekend. I want to see everybody drinking Everton Tears at weekend. You can tag me in it. You can tag Rival Tears in it. So there's a shameless plug.
And by the way, it's good water as well, by the way.
Great water. Spring water is now available at Poundland, people. So there you go. That's my shameless plug for the Tears, man. But anyway, we're going to wrap it up. Thanks for Nick coming on all the way from Australia, mate. It's much appreciated.
No,
I hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon. And Daps, have we got anything else coming up this week on the channel?
So firstly, I just wanted to say, I said oud oil, right? Not nude. I wasn't at any nude shop. To go to a nude shop in the UAE would be insane, right? So no,
it's not happening.
It's not happening. So we've got a show later on today with Martin, Tony, and Patrick, and then I'll be back tomorrow morning with another morning show, and then tomorrow afternoon I have a show with a few of our boys, Steve.
Oh yeah, who's on it?
Yeah, Mason, Eddie, and Mike.
That could just be fucking chaos. That I can't lie. That just could be chaos. That you've got to tune in for that. If you're here, make sure you tune in for tomorrow just to see Mad Mike from Leicester. You've got to tune in. He's a legend. So I'm going to be tuning in for that. I'm not even getting involved in it. I'm not coming in. I'm just going to watch it.
I didn't think you would. I'm just going to sit back and let
I'm not getting involved in any of that, mate. But I'm going to watch it.
I mean, Ed, mate, I don't know if you've seen in the group, but Eddie's been telling me that Leo is a Red. He's only been a City fan for 4 years.
Yeah, you've got if you're throwing them allegations about, you've got to have serious. Evidence.
And then Leo's posting pictures of him as a little kid in the City top. What's he talking about?
I know, yeah, it's just Eddie winding everyone up. I think this is why it's going to be chaos tomorrow.
Yeah, but no, we're back now. I'm back refreshed, as I say. Next time you see me tonight, I will have my specs on. So yeah, we'll be here every morning at 10 a.m. and then usually an afternoon, evening show moving forward.
And just to say that there is a video on my channel that I put out last night. It wasn't put out the best time, but we put it out because the Madrid game was on, so everyone's probably watching that. It's just my thoughts on the last couple of weeks. So if you want to check that out, at Big Steve MCFC. And other than that, keep the faith. Everton at weekend. We're going to go there. We're going to get the 3 points. Come on, City.
Yeah. And last thing, this is going to redirect over to Never a Foul, where I will be on with a panel now. If once you get over there, if you could please like the video. See you this evening. We're out.
See you later.